Howdy folks, Texas Grebner here with Texas Grebner Outdoors. New videos every Saturday, so if you don't want to miss out on your Texas Grebner Outdoors Saturday morning cartoon awesomeness, make sure to click subscribe, check that notification box, and check my channel every Saturday for new videos. I love reading your comments, and I really do appreciate all of you that watch. Wearing a sleeveless shirt to walk through a chest-high cornfield, not one of my better decisions. But I am heading in to check my trail cameras, so we'll see. So I do have quite a bit of deer activity here at this particular blind, and believe it or not, by God, that clover seems to have come up just perfect, which is a real surprise to me. I don't see any chicory down in there, but I've got a carpet of clover down under all of this undergrowth, so hopefully there's going to be something nice and green for the deer to munch on when it comes time for all this undergrowth to turn brown. But at least I've got a good seeding of clover underneath of it, so now I'm going to head over to my other trail camera. So this here blowdown is going to cause me a little bit of a problem in the sense that it literally cuts off a route of deer traffic up to my Christmas tree blind. But the good news is I've got an alcove back here that once I chainsaw these limbs off here and stack them up, I'm going to have another blind pretty much ready-made. But while I was bushwhacking around, right up in there, there was a whitetail doe. Naturally, I can get inside of 20 yards when I don't have a bow in my hand. And at least for early season, obviously I've got a stream down here. So when it's hot, they'll be looking for it, but I'm going to have to get that all cleared up so that I can get some use out of that trail. So here's my other camera. We'll see what's on it. From the looks of things, and I haven't actually reviewed all the pictures on all the cameras, but it seems like I've got some pretty good locations here and some pretty good daylight deer activity. So I'm going to run these through to have a look at them a little closer. But I'm definitely going to have to get a saw in here and cut that trail open again and build a blind next to it. This year I'm going to be using a very primitive style of hunting for whitetail. Now with that being said, I say primitive as a bit of a buzzword because I do use a laminated recurve, and I use high-tech style carbon arrows and metal broadheads. So I'm going to be using some wilderness style tactics, but with modern traditional archery equipment. With that being said though, I am completely astounded at the level of whitetail activity on my trail cameras in only a month. Hardly a day went by without at least some deer activity. Now you see, I am infamous as a terrible whitetail hunter. However, I am an adolescent whitetail hunter. I am a grown man that is an adolescent whitetail hunter, because while I grew up hunting, I did not grow up hunting deer with a bow. I grew up hunting small game and upland birds with a shotgun. So I never had anyone to teach me how this works. And so, because I want the deer where I literally can't miss them, I have taken to hunting from blinds this year so that I am on the ground. If the wind is good and the deer are operating under their normal conditions with no reason to suspect that I am there, they should come past me and offer me a very close, very high percentage shot that I have a high percentage of being able to capture on film. New day, new shirt. I remember to wear long sleeves. Packing in a tree stand, packing in a tree saw. Hell of a lot lighter to carry than a chainsaw. But I'm also going to have a lot more work doing it with a handsaw. But I also feel a hell of a lot safer using a handsaw. Getting some use out of my Kafaru here. Got some ratchet straps. Gonna be hanging a tree stand low. Now there's some pretty awesome pictures on my trail cameras, so that's super good. Question is, am I gonna be able to break the whitetail curse this year? The word bushcraft is very marketable. The word survivalism is very marketable. And I have a lot of respect for primitive skills experts that hunt and practice what they preach. But I have very little patience for bushcrafters that do not hunt and that do not practice what they preach. It seems that they are in love with the idea of it, but they lack killer instinct. There are a few people that come to mind that just drive me up a wall, but in the interest of professionalism and not throwing stones when I live in glass houses, that I will refrain from mentioning. However, I do have an incredible respect for the people that do bushcraft and hunt bushcraft style. The reason that I have such a hard time with non-hunting bushcrafters that then proceed to talk about hunting is, I have such a hard time of hunting even with modern traditional archery equipment, that it simply seems that these people are talking out their hat when they speak about living off the land with primitive equipment. Now what I am doing here is taking a natural blowdown along a naturally made deer trail. I am using the material that was provided to me, and I am building, by weaving branches, an actual blind that I will be able to get set up in alongside of this trail that I have cleared out. So I've got the trail cleared here, and I've got my bushcraft deer blind woven together. Now I just need to hang my stand in there. I think that'll about do it. Just about perfect. At the beginning of this clip, I'm literally 20 yards from the camera. And as you can see, with the equipment that I have, I look tiny. So I want the animals to be close so that I can capture the action of the primal chase and bring it to you guys. Now I'm walking up the deer trail right past the blind, and right there, that is where I want the deer to be. So I had to come back in daylight so that I could give you an episode of Cribs here. But here is the Bushcraft buck blind made out of all those branches that I basically wove together from when I cut that trail open. So, it's pretty awesome. Now granted, I wove it really thickly because when those leaves drop off, I still need the branches to break up my outline rather than relying on the foliage on those leaves. So here's the Bushcraft blind. As you can see, I've got this tree stand strapped on to this deadfall, and I whacked this limb here so that I could get a good solid seat and have plenty of turning room here. That tree right over there at the top of the hill is 20 yards from this very spot. I can stand up and shoot down at the stream if there's one drinking. I can shoot at the top of the hill. As you can see, it's woven in really tight so that even when the foliage drops off of these limbs, that I've still got the limbs in here where I'm brushed in my little Sasquatch nest here. And I've got a lane out here on the front of it where I can turn and I can shoot. Some guys want to brag about how far away they can kill them. I want to be able to brag about how close I killed them. And it seems to me that if you got a good wind, they don't know you're there, and they ain't looking for you. If you can sit still enough along a well-used deer trail, by God, they'll darn near walk up and introduce themselves to you. Now I'm brushed in behind me here, which is really technically the front half of the blind. I'm brushed in behind the camera. I've got a hillside over here. So it just seems like a perfect primitive style blind that I've built here for some whitetail safari, my little Sasquatch shelter. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching. As always, God bless all my sportsmen of America. Join the NRA to protect our rights. Please check out my friends over at SOETacticalgear.com. Thank you very much to those of you involved in law enforcement, and those of you serving in the military. And thanks for watching Texas Grebner Outdoors.